It's Monday, December 26th here at the West End Gun Club. It's another breezy morning here at the range. Every time we look at the weather, it says there's not supposed to be any wind, but this morning, apparently there still is. So we're gonna get some rain starting tomorrow night. So that's why I came out here this morning to just do a little testing with the 308 again. Not much to do, I only brought 20 rounds. I'm just doing some velocity testing and some generic group testing. And I brought my Savage 10FP. I took out the extractor, cleaned everything up. There was a bunch of gunk in there because I was having failures to chamber. From what I could gather, the extractor was not flexing to let the rim pass underneath, and therefore it wouldn't close. So I tore it down. There's a bunch of gunk in there, some debris, and I did some testing at home with some dummy rounds, and it seems okay. So we'll just do a couple test shots with it. I just slapped the scope on there because I had no scope on it. It's not even zeroed or anything, but I'm gonna just sort of run some live fire, some test rounds, and then make sure it works. The load that I've been using in this gun for a long time has been 44 grains of Varget with a Berger 175 OTM. Last time I was out, it was pushing about 2770 in about the similar conditions, maybe 50 degrees. I decided to drop half a grain to 43.5, and today it's averaging 2704, which is about a 65 foot per second drop, which is significant for half a grain. SDs aren't all that great at 10.2. I think in my testing early on, my SDs were about 8 with 44 grains of Varget, which isn't all much better, but everyone wants single digit SDs. I may just stick with this load, to be honest, just to come down to 2700. It's shooting okay on paper. I threw a couple rounds, but I can see where I'm actually grouping. Don't have any more rounds to fire with this because I only have loaded 15, but I'll bring in the target later. We'll take a look at it. But I got 5 rounds of 44 grains just to do a quick comparison test in the same conditions in today's weather. I didn't catch it on camera, but I fired 5 rounds of 44 grains versus the 15 rounds of 43.5 grains of Varget that I was testing. It actually shot a shot better group than my 43.5s. SD was kind of high, but 11.7, average of 2738, which is actually only 20 feet per second faster. So I guess compared to the last time I was out, 44 grains is only pushing 2738 versus 2770. It is possible that the valve bore had something to do with the fact that it was running very fast. I'm not entirely sure. So it's good that I brought some 44 grain loads just to test right now at the same time with the barrel, in the sort of the same conditions. Given these numbers, I may just stick with 44 grains. I don't know, 2738 versus 2705. It's not much of a difference. That's kind of what I would expect with a half grain difference, that much velocity. I wouldn't have expected to see a 65 foot per second difference with only half a grain. So I think this is, given the numbers right now, I'm probably gonna stick with the 44 grains of Varget, not 43.5. But I will have to understand though, it is gonna be running hot as the barrel gets hot, barrel gets fouled. So it's gonna be pushing a lot faster. Maybe, well, not a lot faster, but yeah, about 30 feet per second faster, 2738 to 2770 roughly. Do my math. All right, let's do function testing of the Savage and we'll call it a day. Several range vlogs ago, I brought the Savage 10FP that you see here out to the range to try to shoot it because I hadn't shot it in quite a while. And when I chambered it, it wouldn't, when I tried to chamber it, it wouldn't close, it would just stop. And as I stated, the extractor was not bending with the rim. It wasn't allowing it to chamber around. So I took out the extractor, sorry, no mag in there. Took out the extractor, cleaned it all up. There was quite a bit of gunk in there. and debris, so it probably prevented it from flexing. But as I stated earlier, I test fired it at home, and or not test fired it at home. I test chambered it at home with some dummy rounds, and it was closing. So we'll check it. It closes. We're fine. I wasn't planning on coming to the range this morning, so I packed up all my gear, and I forgot to bring mags, which is why I'm using a single lead loading or single round loading device, a sled. Anyway, and I also stated that I just slapped a scope on here because there was no scope on here. So frankly, it's not even going to be shooting anywhere. I have no idea where this is going to land, but let's just go ahead and just test fire it onto the berm maybe, and we'll see. Make sure it just shoots. That's pretty much what we're here to test. Actually, I'm going to just shoot at my board. See if there's anyone on there. No idea where that landed. And for those interested, this is Berger 130 grain AR hybrids, 43.5 grains H4350, CCI BR2s, Hornady brass. I usually shoot Lapua brass, and Alpha munition, or I have Lapua brass for this, for 6.5 Creedmoor, but this is just some Hornady brass I wanted to shoot up. Now, I usually shoot small primer for Creedmoor. I think it's hitting high on the berm, to be honest. Let's just run it all the way down. But yeah, it seems like it's shooting. Nothing else really here to check other than the fact that it chambers. And I wish I had a magazine though to make sure that it was actually stripping off the mag, but actually I think I do have a mag. I do have one mag that's not functioning well. Okay, it's chambered. Okay. Here's a quick look at the target today. The blacks pasters are what I was shooting at. First rounds of the day, I threw these first two rounds, and then these are the first two rounds of the day, 1 and 2, and then it just started settling in. I think I fired here, which I drifted a couple here, but these is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's another group. This is all 43.5 grains of 43.5 grains of Varget. And I threw a round up there, which isn't all that great. But here's the 44 grains of Varget. So I fired the first round here, which I threw way high for some odd reason, but then I fired 4 rounds right there. So as far as the group potential, I believe I think they're both okay, given what we're seeing here. Sorry, target's kind of wobbly here. I'm throwing, I mean, they're flyers, but I'm 100% sure these were my throws here. This, I don't know. That was the first round of the 44 grains. I mean, again, I probably threw it, but accuracy potential is here. So I think this is good. You can kind of judge this as you will, but this is 44 grains of Varget. I'll just stick with it. It seems to be zeroed on there. So if I decide to shoot the 700 police model for that NRL Hunter match, I'm probably going to just settle with 44 grains of Varget. However, it seems like the Savage is running. So leaves a dilemma. My 700 police model and 308 Winchester, I'm going to stick with 44 grains of Varget. If I decide to shoot this in NRL Hunter match, it's ready to go. As configured, 15 pounds, I think 6 ounces with the sky pod attached. Scope, muzzle brake, all that stuff on there. So it'll make weight open heavy. However, my Savage 10FP is running. Do I trust it? Probably. I think the extractor just needed to be cleaned up. I could probably get a brand new extractor. I probably should, given this thing is, what, 2003? Almost 20 years old. So I probably should I can probably just get new extractor, new spring, extractor ball. So maybe I'll do that. However, it is running. I will have to shoot 140 grains though, because this load, the 130 grain AR hybrids, only pushes 2,900. I say only. 2,900, 2,875, about 2,900. That will not make power factor for NRL Hunter. So if I want to shoot that match, I have to run 140s. My 140 load pushes 2,750, which barely makes power factor out of this gun. 2,750 feet per second. That assumes, you know, I'm guessing the conditions should be, if it's cold conditions, it should still shoot 2,750. I'm out of 140s though. I did buy 144s, but I'm saving those for another project. But I think the 140 grain hybrids are like almost impossible to get. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually out of 175 grain OTMs. I think, well, not out, but I only have maybe 70 left, 75 left. So I have to order more of those, but I can get those. I can't get Berger 6.5 millimeter 140 grain AR, 140 grain hybrid targets, but I can get 30 cal 175 grain OTMs. So that may dictate what I decide to shoot if I do shoot that match. I'm still not even sure I'm gonna shoot that match. I know this gun could shoot though. I've legit fired a couple 1-inch groups at 300 yards with the 130 grains. This gun, it's a Shilen barrel. I threw it on here, it shoots great. Anyway, that's kind of it. And I'll need a new scope. I just threw this trash scope on here. This is Diamondback Tactical. It's actually pretty trash because I think this scope is kind of jacked right now because the image is not centered. Like when you know when you're supposed to look at your scope, you're supposed to have the clear image, no black, it's even black around it. Well, if you want the clearest image or like the brightest image, it's actually shadowing like the top left, like it's not perfectly centered. So I may send this back to Vortex just to have them replace it or something. But yeah, not a very good, I mean, Diamondback Tactical in itself, the elevation turrets are mushy, the clicks don't, the lines don't line up. Like it's kind of got a lot of play in there. So it's just hard to use this scope. So I should send it in. I should get it looked at for this thing, but then I'll probably just get rid of it. But I do need a new scope for this if I decide to shoot it, or I can just hijack the scope off that. However, I am also looking to get a ZC420, so I may just order that. I may just place an order for that because it's back ordered everywhere. Anyway, that's it for today. Not much shooting. I just fired 25 rounds, but I really just wanted to test some loads in here again and make sure this thing runs. And then we'll have some stuff to think about in terms of if I decide to shoot that match, which gun I'll shoot. Anyway, that's it for today, December 26th. I'm gonna try to come out maybe in a couple days just to shoot some rimfire. Until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vlog.